I've listened. And I think, Chairman, you actually said you were convinced about the explanation. It's not convincing.
Yes.
Because the truth must be told, but we can forgive.
Yes.
You can convict a man when police charge you for crime,
Yes.
and the magistrate or judge find you guilty.
Yes.
In terms of sentencing, we say, don't do it again. That is enough caution. It's enough sentence. Or to pretend that what is wrong is right, is I have difficulties in reconciling it.
Yes.
First, it's a serious crime for one man to pretend to bear 3 names. If I don't know it, you know it more than me. And the details here are such that there is no escape route. Same phone number, same email. And even you confirm that you know that it's the same person. But that he can pick and choose. That's not correct. This is not about opinion, it's about law. You breach the law. So what you can say, and that is the easiest way for you, is not to try, as they say, Mr. Chairman, when you try to defend one lie, you will need series of lies, some of which will become much more criminal. There are 2 possible options. If I were to ask this question, maybe I'll cause you more trouble. Yes. By asking about the approval threshold.
Yes.
For who? And at what level was this done? That is said, will reveal something that you want to hide. So I think, like you tried to say earlier, right? First, this was done long ago, before the present IG, I believe.
Yes.
It wasn't done under this present IG. But that does not excuse you, because as you know more than me, time does not run against the state in criminal matters.
Yes.
And therefore, a feature of time does not apply. However, that the guy who did it is no more in uniform also does not excuse you, because the system is a continuum. What you can do is to make the case, and I want you to make that case. But this was done not with you responsible, and but you inherited one of the liabilities of asset and liability where you inherit to a certain level, and therefore you want this community to take that into account and a reassurance that you will do so again. To do otherwise is to ask for more excavation. If you excavate, it might get much more messier. I think it's important that you know it, we know it. Mr. Chairman, we have the discretion to do what we have to do. It should be based on a convincing presentation. Even God does not forgive if you don't ask for forgiveness. Yes, confession, I'm a Catholic. You don't confess. The Father will not ask God to.
But the problem, my excellency, is that if you confess at the police station, you wasn't.
The good news for them is that we are not police.
You don't have confessional statement.
We are.
Which is very dangerous to the tribe.
Yeah, I do understand.
Thank you, excellency.
If you don't, I used to go to magistrate. They used to charge me a lot to magistrate court.
Wonderful.
If you plead guilty, the magistrate will be more lenient. But if you want the case to go through all the proceedings and they find you guilty, then the maximum law applies. So you can't be wrong in asking for mercy. Even we here, we do make mistakes, at least mistakes of the head. So I think we can look at it that way, so that you don't go away with the impression that you outsmarted us. No, not even by half. Or we can go the other way.
Thank you, excellency.
IGs don't have immunity. So whoever was the IG at the time this infraction were committed, is he not liable? Because in our law, you cannot punish me for an offense committed by another person. Even as we recognize that systems of government is a continuum. No, you can't. So that people don't commit crime, then they retire, and they appear to have enjoyed immunity by default. So the point I'm making is that I'm worried about establishing a tradition whereby if you can delay reply, as in this case, they did not reply, they did not respond to queries by the auditor, and then they have left the service. I believe that they are still liable. And so rather than go to your archive, you might need to summon them. Because if public officers have been summoned, former ministers, former governors, and former senators, but who was a senator, always a senator, if they can be summoned to account for a crime committed against the state 10 years ago, why should it not apply to police IGs and DIGs and AIGs, even if they have retired? So that we don't have two sets of laws. One is binding on other than for the police hierarchy, they appear to have an immunity that is unknown to law. So because you can't be arresting people for offenses and then you retire and then you get away with your own impurities. I don't want to be, so that we operate under the same law.
Yes, I think your submission is to...
Really, we are senators. May we not commit an offense as senators now? But if in 10 years' time somebody finds out we commit offense, as we have seen, people are being invited to account for what they did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and the police are quick to remind you that time does not run against the state in criminal matters. So if you summon those IGs,
No.
that is a way. Excuse me, you can have your opinion, but I'm entitled to be safe. You can invite them. When you're talking of going to the archive, that is fine. But when you do, the signature of those involved in it can be summoned to come and defend themselves.
Okay.
That way,
let me brief you.
yes.
Take your point.
So I'm saying, if it is necessary, beside the archive, those who did this should come and explain to this committee.
Mr. Chairman,
I think your words, as I understood them, didn't tantamount to giving anybody the only branch, as Senator Joel assumed, because you made a point, which is irreducible. That is to say, we are here as public trustees. We are here not only to account for money, in this case, to account for weapons which may have found their way into the hands of criminals. The day the Senate cannot deal with this transparently, transparency means openly, then we will have failed our primary responsibility. And so I hold the view that the attempt by the AIG to take cover or refuge under food security issues is completely inappropriate and even facetious. Because you, more than us, should be very worried that about 4,000 arms, some of which would have been used by criminals to compound the security situation we are facing as a people. And that as we speak, you don't know who is applied them. They may be applied today to kill an innocent person. And it will be your law to go and find out people. The least I expected of you, and I insist that you should discharge that burden, is to say that you track these missing arms to an officer whose name must be disclosed. Because when you arrest people who stole rats and rabbits, you parade them. So if a police officer sell or through neglect, deliberately by omission or commission, is responsible or are responsible for missing of this number of arms, you have an obligation not only to disclose, but to apprehend, parade, and name such persons. This country must operate under the same level of rule of law. Mr. Chairman, sir, if it is the intention of the framers of the Nigerian Constitution that some level of crime should be treated under, quote, security reasons, then this committee is not required. The name public account is meant to be interpreted literally.
It's supposed to be live. Proceeding is supposed to be live.
Right, yes.
That's the way it is in the US Congress.
So, My dear friends,
Yes, sir.
you know the police is supposed to be, the police is our friend. Let me ask you a personal question.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel that about 4,000 AK-47 procured by taxpayers' money, that is not the essence of it. The taxpayers' money are wasted. We are making no news. What is worrisome is that this money used to procure arms for the purpose of protecting Nigerians by trained Nigeria police force is now lost to or stolen, or an officer distributed them. Somebody mentioned every day we hear news of some people selling arms to criminals. And you will understand, as governor of Edo State, my personal assistant, my principal private secretary, was killed. And the police report was that the firearm that was used was under police custody. That remains a scar in my heart forever. So I think you have a duty, this one we will not waive. Mr. Chairman, I hold the view they must account for each and every piece of those weapons.
Thank you.
They must disclose other whose care were those weapons missing. If those people are alive, let the stone be written. Here lies an officer who sold arms to criminals. And if he's alive, he should be summoned under the appropriate law, have been asked to account for it, and be prosecuted according to law. The reason we have to do that, even if they are retired, is if we don't do that, those have been now, we learn no lesson. It is not for nothing that sanctions are provided for in our laws.
Thank you, Your
Without sanction, there can be no discipline.
Thank you, Your
So, and I want you to understand that we are trying to be as nice as we can, but without being so nice as to become guilty of negligence of our primary responsibility. I have spoken at length about the need for appropriate oversight of the Senate, because I can't justify my stay in Abuja if I can't fulfill the mission of a senator, and that includes, as a member of this committee, that you account for those arms. It's not money now. This is much more than money. And until you do so satisfactorily, this case must be sustained.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that.
By the private secretary. It remains a sky and police force. What you have just said is not correct.
I'm telling you.
Whether by common sense
Or by law.
you attach people to the governor. You didn't attach them to Benin City. Which is the correct question? Were they attached to the governor or they attached to the office? To the building? Is the governor assumed to be mobile or stationed? Under the rules of engagement, the police attached to the governor. When the governor is traveling, are they to take permission before they travel? Those attached to me regularly tells me that they go to regularize
their booking.
Not only the booking of their arms, but also from time to time that they are where they are supposed to be. And sometimes your officers come to check if they are still with
you,
in case they may have left without reporting.
I will.
To make the assumption you are making to insult the intelligence of the police,
I'm
not
telling
us.
you, I'm telling
you suggest to us that if an officer moves from Benin on official escort duty to which you officially are legally assigned him, that you will presume his weapon is no longer with him.
No tweets.
Wait.
Okay.
Even in the days of analog system of phone calls, when I don't know how many phones you have, it takes a police, the nearest police station, you can ask him to go and check. So the truth of the matter is, you have to go back. If I were you, you will take the option of going to document, even if we were to take your views, which I think might put you in more trouble, to document those who have presumed loss, not because the officers are dead, not because they can't be reached, and you are paid their salaries, there's evidence their salaries is paid as are well due, and you assume that because they are not at the point at which they were assigned to an officer or to a particular duty, Therefore, you choose to record, not us, not the Accountant General, not the Auditor General. You choose to record that they should be presumed to have been lost.
With their firearms.
Does that meet the requirement of common sense?
It does not. It
How?
does not.
How?
So AIG.
You know why I don't want to trouble this file is that, you know, go through this document, I see officers who have paid the supreme price. That is to say, those who died, who were shot by armed robbers or other criminals in the course of their going about their business of protecting the Nigerian people. To them, my heart goes to their family and their children, and I think they paid the supreme price. So it would even be nice to be discussing them, right? But you should be seen to offer us a basis to give you the benefit of the doubt. But the argument you offer, for me, I am flabbergasted. How? You are somebody now, police that were attached to me from Abuja by IG Balogu. And I transfer and they report to police that we are now located here. You presume that their arms are missing. That's what you are trying to explain. And that's how I understand you.
That is a presumption.
No, sir.
Let him finish.
He has tried to help you.
Okay, no, let him go ahead, AIG.
You sit on the door, you have to pass it on.
No, let's hear from him. Let's